Okay. That was quite a moment, having to relive that. Okay, so what did the report say? Let me ask.
I honestly wish I knew. I'm going to say something that's probably going to shock a lot of people. I don't think that I have watched one complete episode of Inspector Bediako in all these years.
Really?
And the reason being is that we were shooting back to back. So by the time they were showing it on TV, we were still on set, on location, filming. So to look at this particular episode that I got fortunately yesterday from the director, Mr. Nat Lomomenu, I looked at it and I go, Nat, are you sure we shot this? Is that me?
Well, it looks like you.
It looks like me, but it's and it was a great feeling. So I'm still eager.
Okay.
To watch every single episode. And if there are a lot of people out there who haven't watched it, I think they should. And I hope one of these days they will be available for them to do so.
Wow. So Oscar Provincial is our guest this morning. We are really talking about Ghanaian film, Ghanaian TV, what it means. One big thing. So a lot of us watched Inspector Bediako before CSI, which alone is a big deal. But I want us to start it from the very beginning, using this story, Oscar, to sort of tell the story of Ghanaian film and TV. How long ago was this? How did this journey begin?
Good grief. I still find it very difficult to pinpoint the exact time, but I'm sure it was early 90s, 92 that way. That's a long time ago. And we must also remember in that era, we basically had only GBC. And so we had all the Osofodazis and other great productions that were being done by TV at the time. When the concept came up, I originally was not part of the cast. This is a concept that was put together by the Honorable Kojo Yanka. And so big ups to you, Prof, wherever you are, and his brother, Professor Kwesi Yanka as well. And originally, Evans Omar Hunter was to be the inspector.
Okay.
And somewhere along the line, they had faced certain challenges, and they kind of reached out. And they got another person to play Inspector Bediako, who was called Bediako Ray. And at that time, the concept was to have some Brazilian capoeira martial arts involved in the production. And this was brought in by a gentleman called O.D. Hawkins, who's a Black American writer, a very famous Black American writer. And to infuse that in the production. And so I get a call from Nat Lomomenu, who's the producer, the director, or the director at the time, and says, look, come in and see whether you can, get a role. Apparently he had seen something I had done in Nafti and thought that I would be suitable for the role. But he didn't bring me in for Inspector Bediako. I came in for SOA, and that's Inspector's assistant. So originally I played SOA. And then somewhere along the line, Ray needed to go to America. And so it left, a gaping hole there. And so the choice, they had to make a decision as to, whether to bring somebody in for the role or see whether I could play the role. And that's very difficult to do when you're shooting a series. It's playing one character, and then the next minute, the audience is seeing you play another character.
Yeah.
And so that crossover was a huge gamble. And I doffed my hats to Nat and to Honorable Kojo Yanka for taking that bold decision. I don't think I'd be sitting here if that did not happen.
Wow.
And so, I always say there's a God factor in everything that we do with the creative arts, because we get inspiration. And if you're going for an audition, you're going to audition for one role, but you've got 1,000 to 2,000 people who want that same one role. So you have a few minutes to impress somebody, and then you are before a panel who will then decide whether they like your looks, whether they like your voice, whether they like your performance. It's totally out of your hands. It's totally out of your hands. So if you do get picked through that process, there's a God factor in it for you. And I think that's guided me, and I've seen that happen to me throughout my career.
Okay.
And I'm only very fortunate that, you know, the dice rolled into my favor. But it's also not about, you know, when you get the role, it's about what you do with it.
Exactly.
And fortunately, God being so good, I think that if 20-something down years, you know, down the line, people are still saying, you know, you've done a good job, you've impacted on my life and stuff like that, then I'm only awed and humbled by it.
I mean, you've impacted on my life. Let me tell you one side comment that I had, just by the way. A pastor is preaching, and I'm listening to him, and he says that one reason why we don't have a lot of murders in marriages is because of Inspector Bediako.
Oh, wow.
Because they know you'll be caught.
I've never heard that one.
I mean, this was just, you know, a joke that he pushed whilst he was preaching. But let's talk about the film industry as you knew it. Because this is what the conversation really is about. So we'll have Mickey Osebeko soon on the show. Josh Quay will also be on the show.
Fantastic.
You were a young man who was going in an environment where, like, much like today, a lot of people, you ask, what do you want to be? You say a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, something. What made you choose acting?
Good question. I was acting from childhood, acting throughout school, and so, you know, when God gives you a talent and He gives you a passion, it doesn't matter what it is. For everybody, it's something else. And this is what I identified myself with. That's what gave me joy. That's what gave me happiness, you know. And I thought, what better way to live my life than to be happy and do a job that I love. And even though that it can be grueling at times and very tasking, you love it. It's your job. And so the film industry was something that I've always wanted to be in, inspired by so many. And so that's where my love and my passion is, and theater as well. So it wasn't hard to take that decision.
It started for you in school when you were young?
Yes, it started for me in school. And a lot of us, our passions start from school.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I used to play cricket. I used to play cricket for, you know, my school team and things like that. Today, I'm the vice president of the Ghana Cricket Association.
Okay.
I play cricket for the Ghana national team. So, you know, but it starts from school. So a lot of the passions that we have in life start from school. And so today, when we have taken out certain, you know, things like music and drama, and it's so difficult for many schools today, and I can say that for a fact because I know that one of my daughters is in a school in Cape Coast, and I'm not going to mention the name because, you know, I don't want to.
I saw you stop yourself from mentioning the name.
I didn't want to mention the name. But to get the support to do drama is so difficult. The curriculum is so
packed. So focused on passing the exam.
Yes. So, you know, extracurricular, you know, activities and stuff like that is difficult. But I think it's an important thing. It allows, for instance, especially in drama, in plays, it allows you to get a certain confidence to be able to speak before people. If you join debate clubs, it teaches you how to debate. It processes your mind in a certain way. And there's so many advantages to it. those who get involved in sports is about health and wellness, and it's a whole psychological.
It's all about teamwork, coordination, leadership.
There's a whole thing to it. But
very true.
Unfortunately, we tend to these days look down upon it.
True.
But I think it's an important component that we must refocus ourselves into. Otherwise, we're going to have very deadpan children walking around who have no love for the arts or for culture, and we're surrounded by arts and culture every single day. I mean, the design of this headset that I'm looking at is an artistic endeavor,
Exactly.
The design of this table, the architecture of this building. I mean, there's art, there's culture, there's in everything that we do, from our food to what we wear and so forth. I mean, these are things that we take for granted because we see them every day.
Exactly.
And yet we don't.
And you were telling me off air how it seems so ingrained, like Ghanaian art forms seem so ingrained in our regular lives that we tend to overlook them.
Exactly. And if you look especially at the creative arts, there was a time that nobody wanted their child to be in that sector. Absolutely nobody.
Was it like that when you were growing up?
That's in the 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
Everybody needed to be a doctor, a lawyer, or something like that. And I suppose, well, that's a good thing. But, there's, I guess there's a dispensation. And as we began to open up, we began to see that even footballers, nobody wanted their child to be a footballer. True. And then when Abedi and Co started making money, everybody thought, wow, they're making that kind of money, yes. And now it's gone to different levels.
Interesting.
And the same thing has happened with the creative arts. And what I can say, at least for Inspector Bediako, I think there was a paradigm shift in the kind of production. That was the first independent TV production, a detective series
in
Ghana, and it brought a new awareness and a new respectability. At that point, I don't think the middle class was getting involved in film production. They looked down upon it. From that moment on, you started finding doctors and lawyers and a whole host of different kind of categories of society getting involved.
When you say getting involved, what do you mean?
Even in advertising, billboards, in those days there was Lintus, they're still around.
The advertising agency.
Exactly. And you could see a great shift, with the middle class getting involved within the creative arts, and so forth.
Oscar, I'm getting lost in the conversation. I'm telling you, it's so amazing what you're telling us. What we'll do when we come back is that we'll go into making that choice, because I want to know, for instance, was it ever a difficult conversation with your friends and your loved ones when you told them that you had chosen to be an actor? And then we'll talk about the impacts. You've already started hinting that Inspector Bediako made. And then we'll relive some of those moments that made us all fall in love with that inspector himself. That is what we're discussing on after the Joy Business Minute and these messages. Remember, Miki Osebeko is also on the show today, and George Quay is also on the show today. We'll have a conversation about Taxi Driver as well. Stay with us.
It's Friday already.
And here's the Joy Business Minute with Daryl and Karen.
The Ghana cedi recorded one of its biggest appreciation against the dollar in a day. This morning, selling at 5 cedis 60 pesos to the dollar. The British pound is going for 7 cedis 66 pesos, and the euro is going for 6 cedis 51 pesos.
The Vice President's wife, Samira Baumia, has assured the business community that government is committed to improving the economic fortunes of the country. According to her, some interventions have begun yielding results to allow businesses to thrive.
Mrs. Baumia was speaking at the 5th Anniversary Dinner and Awards Night of the French Chamber of Commerce in Ghana, where producer of Super Sam Cement, CBI, was adjudged the best company of the year.
Elsewhere, China has passed a new foreign investment law in a move widely seen as an effort to facilitate U.S. trade talks. Delegates voted overwhelmingly in favor of the law on the final day of the National People's Congress.
You are updated now.
And we'll be back at 3:06.
Coffee coffee in your cup, and Joy on the set, the Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
And we're back. It's 9:02 here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. We're having breakfast with Oscar Provençal. Inspector Bediako is the name, you probably know him by. He was
watching in front of me.
He was lead actor in the early 90s series that really captivated our screens. Now, Oscar, before we went for the Joy Business Minute, you were talking about how it was a difficult choice for parents to make, watching their children go into the creative arts. That may be changing now, because it's not totally changed. It may be changing now. But what kinds of conversations were you having with your friends when you decided that I'm going to take this thing I was doing on stage in school and make it into my life?
To be honest, they thought I was mad. Sometimes when you have a passion, you have a vision, you don't allow people to take you off that vision. God has given you a talent. And I just had a conversation with you offline, and you were saying that in school you were with the Debaters Club and
the Cultural Society, which was
you began emceeing and stuff. You had a talent. People would listen to you. That's a God-given talent. People talk. It's not everybody that listens. So if you have the ability to talk and get people to listen, and you talk sensibly and coherently, I think that's a talent that you cannot walk away. It's a God-given talent. God does not give us talents for nothing. Each and every one of us has that talent. We need to somehow find it ourselves, deep within ourselves, and sometimes other people need to pull it out of us. And that's why sometimes in school you get that opportunity, and you will have absolutely no idea. My daughter, I had absolutely no idea whatsoever she could act. She won Best Actress at Studefest.
Wow.
Last year. And this year she also won Best Actress as well in her school.
A chip off the old block, isn't
Off the old block. I never knew. I mean, so there are a lot of people out there who have these talents. And if you do have a talent, whether it's in cooking, sewing, whatever you're doing. I mean, I've got a guy who can wash a car with a bucket of water, and the car will look like it's just come out of the most modern washing.
Amazing.
And he's got that talent. Now, how do you turn that talent into something else and monetize it and make it grow? And so, they thought that I was a bit mad, but that's what I wanted to do. And looking down the road, I'm happy. I'm glad that I stuck to it. It hasn't been a fantastic journey all along. Life is not like that. It was even tough in those days during Inspector Bediako. We weren't so fantabulously paid. I remember we were battling with mosquitoes. There was a time at the trade fair, we were shooting at the trade fair, and the mosquitoes were literally everywhere, and we had to spray the mosquitoes whilst we were acting. That's a health hazard right there and there. And I remember going outside to take a pee, and and the mosquitoes were buzzing around, and I said, "That's enough, guys. I'm not." I zipped up very quickly and said, "That's enough, guys. I'm not going to shoot here anymore." And that's how we moved from the trade fair to where GFIC is, TV3 is now, to shoot in our office. So, we had very difficult conditions. We had a fantastic crew. Let me mention some of the guys. Napuk Bandi, the late Napuk Bandi, he was our DOP. He was a lecturer at NAFTI.
Photography.
Yeah, director of photography. NAFTI, fantastic guy. May soul rest in perfect peace. We had great people like Nadlo Omenu, who was the director, a whole host of guys.
Let's talk a bit about that production, really, because you've told us how it was a difficult conversation with friends, but really, Inspector Bediako gave you that opportunity to be who you wanted to be in a system that would pay you, in a system that would help you flourish. So how did that production really work? Let's talk about, for instance, how that production was starting out. You heard of the auditions and then you went there?
Yes. So, like I said, Nat reached out to me. I came for the auditions. I got the role for Soa, and I told you about how that evolved.
Yes.
But fortunately, I think that the success of Bediako was the level of professionalism. Each and every one of them of the crew were professionals of the highest order, all of them coming from NAFTI. And these were lecturers at NAFTI. You had the likes and former students. We had Samuel Nye, who is currently now, the rector of NAFTI. So he's gone a long way from those days of editing in NAFTI to becoming the rector of NAFTI. Francis Kwachi sound. I mean, I still today, he's probably one of the best sound men in Ghana. And a whole host of other guys.
Yeah.
And, I get the credit. You invite me to come to the studio and go, oh, Inspector Bediako, you're so this, you're so that. I could never have been that without these guys. These are the unsung heroes. And unfortunately in this country, there are too many unsung heroes. And I am only humbled to be here on behalf of them. And I get the credit, and sometimes I think it's grossly unfair. And so I tell a lot of my friends that, listen, when you get the opportunity and the privilege to be before a microphone and before the world, say hi to the people who made you who you were and who gave you the opportunities and who lifted you up. And it's important that we all do that.
Amazing, because like you said, it's the professionalism that they brought to the set that made the story.
Oh, absolutely. And there's a vast difference between then and now.
Vast difference, good or bad?
Unfortunately, it's, I think it's bad. But it shouldn't be generalized completely because there's still great crew in this country. But unfortunately, it's been diluted a lot. Not everybody has been to NAFTI. Not everybody has, been endowed with those professional ethics and so forth. And it's something that we need to move back towards, and that's another conversation,
totally.
Obviously. But I think at the time, too, we must remember that, and listening to the gentleman who was assaulted by the police.
Yes.
It's all about the relationship between the police and its citizenry. And in that time also, I think the relationship was quite at an all-time low. And one of the things that Bediako did was to give a more respectability to the police, and also with the equipments that they use. In those days, they didn't have Motorola's.
Okay.
They didn't have the vehicles that we were using. And so that also was seen by the police, as boosting them and encouraging them. And I think it impacted on authorities because soon after they began equipping them with these items.
Oh.
I stand for correction, but that's my view. And so there was a huge impact on that level. What I see today is that the relationship is obviously souring again. And so we will need to find ways and means of bridging that gap. And it'll be nice one day you'll be walking down the street and you'll, like you go to when you're in London and then you see a policeman and you ask him for directions and you'll go, yes, sir, please follow this, and he'll give you directions nicely.
Perhaps
Instead
this is
of
one
saying,
thing.
hey, my friend, you said what?
Perhaps this is one thing that can help. King David sends me a text message. He says, Daniel, good morning. This is a personal appeal. Can we please reenact this Inspector Bediako series? We enjoyed it so much way before CSI. I will be the first to audition for it. I'm sure you had so many requests like that. Oscar, let me put a pin in it for a moment, and let's go on the phone lines and speak with George Quay, who played Abuaje da Silva in Taxi Driver. Good morning, George.
Good morning, Daniel. Good morning to the big people in your studio.
How's everything this morning?
God is good. We're blessed.
Awesome.
Once we have life, we've got to give glory every day.
So a lot of us hear you speaking for Charterhouse and, on Showbiz A to Z, where you can join us and all of that. But the George Quay we know is Abuaje da Silva. Can we meet him this morning? Can we meet Abuaje this morning?
Or Abuaje.
Abuaje.
What's the guy saying? Abuaje International, my only catch on to what I say. Also to Ministry of Free, any authority or person near what you don't come. Yes, I back you.
George Quay Abuaji, that's all.
Yes,
Okay.
Daniel. Yes, Daniel. Those were the days.
How old were you back in the day?
When I say that now, people would see that Chalika Nini. You know, but I was pretty much a child.
Yeah.
But people like Mikio Saiber, Samajete Fio, Mufti Dabre, may his soul rest in peace. Henry Harding, B. Watara, Antifosti, yes, Hannah Butchie, and the rest of the team. They made it all so easy. Would you believe me if I told you that at the time I was recruited or I was given the role of Abuaji, I couldn't even speak Twi properly. I actually learned on the show.
Wow.
Yeah, I learned on the show. And people like Brazzy, that's Kwame Boidi of Sun City fame. He's a producer director for Sun City. He was very helpful, and of course, Emmanuel Appiah was the very first director that I worked with. He actually gave me the role of Abuaji.
Okay.
Emmanuel Appiah, who later on came to produce Home Sweet Home and other television shows. They were all very helpful, and you know, from episode to episode. They would help me polish it up and all that. They actually did. I wrote a number of episodes for Taxi Driver. That's what a lot of people don't know. Yeah, I think I wrote about 12 episodes in total of the entire series. Yeah. That was where I started writing, and they were really helpful, you know. So
that's so great to hear. George, you know something?
Tell me.
When you hear this, what comes to mind?
Okay, may so rest. Beautiful production. And you know, that song was like a prophecy. Because later on, everywhere that you would get to, the debaters, and it was so for every single member of the cast. Tito would experience same, Yosebe would experience same. So it was as if it was John K knew what the reaction would be, and he put it in the theme song. Taxi Driver and everywhere that we went to, even to date, I still get that. You go somewhere and people kind of see you.
Okay. Okay. So, George, tell us a bit about how the Taxi Driver concept came. I mean, you wrote some of the scripts, the plot, and what it was about. For those who may not have been around at the time.
John Kay and John Kay and Richard Prempe, the producers, executive producers at the time. I mean, and funny enough, Master Richard, and then executive producer's name is also Richard. So people kind of thought they just wanted to be who they are, because Richard Prempe himself is a guy. If you know him very well, he's the chairman of the Audiovisual Rights Society of Ghana. He's a guy. I mean, he is that fun person. And, you know, he likes to speak with that kind of swag. Hey, Jack, and I was saying, now, are you more defying, you know, that kind of thing. So when they created the concept, they just wanted a television show that would speak to the ordinary Ghanaian. A television show that would, you know, let us look at life in a different way, and see the kind of conversations that go on in a taxi.
Mm-hmm.
Because places like taxis, trotros, saloons, barbering shops, these are places that some of the most intricate and most interesting conversations go on in our country. But a lot of people haven't really paid attention to these. So these gentlemen came together, thought of an idea where they could send society some messages through one of the places where things are discussed the most. So if you watch the series, the Master Richard, Abuaji, and Tifosti parts were just the fun part. But the real messages, the real themes of each episode were the conversations that happened in the taxi. You know, so that was basically the plot. That was the idea. Yes, get a conversation, get a theme. Maybe today we want to talk about land title, land guards and stuff like that. Land acquisition. We want to talk about rent. We want to talk about water, sanitation. I can imagine the kind of episode we would have done in the Dumso days. I can imagine.
Speaking of which,
when they do Canadian, my mouse can't say for so they are quite ideas. What is kind of checks me what? Then I was oh, I find that's how. kind of cars that I'm going to city on the not teaching so or the Akudi you would have found a lot of interesting twists to it. And the good thing was that the scripts were very flexible. Producers and directors weren't that strict that you got to go by the script by all means.
Okay.
We were allowed to improvise. So there was a lot of improvisation, a lot of freedom to do things. I mean, Papa Nee's big English thing was kind of his own idea, you know, something that he brought to spice up the entire production.
Really?
Eric's coughing and all that was also sort of his own idea, something that he brought on to spice up the production.
Wow.
So the team was a crack team, and they gave us the freedom to do things that would make it stand out, that would make it unique. And for me, it was a real eye-opener. Though the money wasn't plenty.
So you talk about how, you know, we would have had a crack episode during the Doomso days. Has it ever occurred to you guys to, you know, put something together?
There have been discussions, but the problem now is time. Of course, George Quay then is not George Quay today. By God's abundant grace, George Quay today has...
Now, yes, senior man, just say it. Yes, senior man.
Oh, not senior man.
Yes, senior man.
We are busy with many other things. So even finding the time to get onto the set, to give it your all. Because if you're doing a production, and that is why, no offense to all the other productions that are around today, but I doubt there has been any that comes anywhere close to Taxi Driver series. None. None of the comedy series that you see on TV speak to both the young, the old, the rich, the poor, the middle class. None. I challenge any producer out there who thinks he has a production that was or is better than Taxi Driver to call it out and show it. None.
But Josh, isn't that a problem? Shouldn't we be having bigger and better things to look forward to rather than having all our best behind us?
That is why you and I should ask ourselves what we've been doing with our creative sector, because ideally that is what it should be. The question is, what have we been doing with our creative sector? Why is it that even to date, when people's kids tell them, I want to be an actor, I want to be an actress, I want to be a musician, they aren't really enthused as if the kid said, I want to be a doctor, or I want to be an engineer, I want to be a pilot, or something like that. Because still, a lot of us in that space are struggling. Because till date, there are people who gave their all on Osokudazi, on Inspector Bediakon, on Taxi Driver, on Showcasing Gun, on TV theater, who are literally struggling to make ends meet. Because the system was not set up in a way that it would protect them, that they would be able to live off their sweat. Today, I mean, my revenue from Taxi Driver should be to pay my kids' fees, but I doubt I can say so. It's not. You understand?
Do you still have revenue from Taxi Driver?
Well, the first time I earned any royalty from it was a year ago. And, I think, last year.
2018?
Actually, that was the very first time, yes.
2018?
Yes, that was the first time I got some royalty from Taxi Driver. The very first time.
Let me bring
and even that, I was grateful. I was shocked. Because it's been a problem. You understand? And that is why people may not be able to go on to produce award-winning TV shows. Because when you go to other jurisdictions, TV stations, just because of certain protections in the industry, are obliged to put a percentage of local content on their screens. So they go out there and look for people like Oscar Provençal. They go out there and look for people like Mikio Sebe. They look for the George Quays and stuff. And they commission you to produce TV shows for them. Look at HBO and Game of Thrones. Look at ABC and all their productions.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
These are people that run TV stations, and they commission producers, directors, so they keep the business flowing.
Yeah.
And by doing that, the people are able to churn out award-winning productions. But in Ghana, if you put up a TV show, you produce something, you now have to literally go knock on the door of a TV station and beg them to show it for you. And sometimes they would give you a bill that you cannot pay. That's the reality. So how are we going to be able to produce good TV shows?
George Quay, thanks so much.
Sir.
Thanks so much. I know you have quite a morning. We really even wanted...
It's the day for the big VGMA unveil.
So, by all means, you plug it in. Come and pick up your invoice at the front desk. But VGM is being launched there at 11 a.m. We are supporting you.
The launch party is happening this evening. But I know you'll be there. So when you come there, we'll talk.
All right,
But we need
Josh.
to open this discussion a bit further. It's
Josh-
about time we pushed our government, because our government have neglected us. They haven't cared about us. They haven't given a damn
Josh,
about this industry.
George,
They
you know
only
what?
know us when it's time for politics. They
George, you know
only us
what?
when it's
George,
time
you know
for
what?
politics.
George, you know
But,
what?
yeah.
Film
Yeah.
is a big part of Ghana Month on the Super Morning Show this month.
Yeah.
So this conversation is definitely not over. But we just had some news coming in. A 13-year-old has been burned to death in an Asafo fire in Kumasi this morning. The fire erupted at about 5:30 a.m. On the line with us now is Nanaya Ojima of Love FM to give us these details. This just came in. Nanaya, good morning.
Good morning, Daniel.
What happened?
All right, residents cannot actually tell how the fire started, but they say around 5:30 a.m. when the boy was still asleep in the wooden structure in which they lived, the mother was out on a routine morning exercise, and residents say they saw fire coming out of the house, and later it spread to other parts of the enclave. That's the fitting shops here at Asafo. And residents were unable to break into the wooden structure in which the boy slept because of the intensity of the fire. So as I speak to you now, the boy is dead, and his remains has been conveyed from the area by the police. And about 7 shops at the Asafo fitting shop, Asafo fitting area and mechanic area has been burnt down to ashes.
So this happened in Asafo Market?
Not Asafo Market, but it's a fitting shop. That's an enclave where
A fitting shop
shops are located.
Thank you. So do we know what a 13-year-old boy was doing sleeping in a fitting shop alone at 5:30 a.m.?
All right, so their house is within the fitting enclave. It's a wooden structure that's made in the enclave, and that's where he stays with the family.
Okay.
And
So
at the time the incident happened, the mother of the boy was out on a routine morning exercising.
okay, so he should have been in the wooden structure with his mother, but his mother had stepped out.
Yes, exactly, Daniel.
Wow. How is his mother faring now?
I couldn't see the mother because as when the thing happened, people had to come carry the mother from the house to somewhere, and they wouldn't give us the location because they feel the mother shouldn't be exposed to a lot of people who will make her situation bad. So I couldn't see the mother, but
Which is
according to
understandable.
people who saw them carry the mother from the area, they tell me she's devastated. The family, that's the father, is also very, very sad, and she had to be carried from the area to give her some comfort.
Now, have the fire service been involved? Do we know what caused the fire?
The fire service said they are still investigating the matter. They came to the place around 6 a.m. and residents there are very, very aggrieved. They feel that the fire service could have arrived earlier because they kept calling them for more than 30 minutes. And it took them a lot of time, considering where the fire started and where the fire service is at. They feel the people could have arrived earlier to save the situation. And they are blaming the fire service for the whole inferno because they believe that if they had arrived earlier, they could have saved the situation and maybe saved the boy as well.
What about the boy's father? Where was he?
The boy's father had also stepped out because, according to the people around, these are people who go out very early to find their daily bread. So the woman will go to the morning exercise and come back early and try to prepare the boy for school. So it's a routine for the family. So they believe that that's what they do, and the parents are not to blame for what happened to the boy.
Thank you, Nani Aljima, for that.
Welcome.
25 minutes past 9. Very sad news coming in from Kumasi. A 13-year-old boy has been burnt to death in Asafo. We'll take these important messages. When we come back, we'll get back to our conversation. Oscar Provençal is still here. We spoke with George Quay earlier. Miki Osebek will also join us on phone. We'll be back.
If you buy gold, you will save money. Because gold lasts longer. If you paint your house gold, it will shine brighter. Because gold withstands all the elements. And gold protects you from microbial growth. And it's washable. And contrary to common belief, gold comes in every color your heart desires. So, invest in gold premium acrylic paints the next time you want to paint your house. Highly washable, long-lasting, with a wide range of products from acrylic paints to enamels, primers, stuccos, and more. All engineered to the highest international standards. Protect your home. Invest in gold.
Hey, Sammy. Yeah, brother. I say yesterday, you do some magic way. I shock. What's happened? Yeah, yesterday, the money go take pay for your hospital bills of Charlie was a problem. As me, I did there, the worry. Oh, I didn't put his phone, dial something. Where I follow him go the MTN store opposite the hospital. He spoke to the iOS Send with care staff and he came out with 600 Ghana cedis in his mobile money wallet to sort the hospital bill, my brother.
What? Are you send with care?
Yeah.
Why? He be sponsor.
Remember the 200 Ghana cedis he sent to Mami Zima last week using MTN iOS Send with care?
Yeah, I
can't. That be what they triple give him back as an insurance cover.
Sayo!
When you want to send mobile money, simply dial *170# on your MTN phone. Select option 1, scroll down and select option 3, send with care. Then boom, you get the money tripled as medical cover for yourself and life cover for both you and the recipient. To claim, simply dial *170#. Call 100 for more information. Terms and conditions apply. This policy is underwritten by Metropolitan Life Insurance Ghana. Ayo, because you care.
Providence Insurance, insurance for marine. Providence Insurance, insurance for your motor. Providence Insurance, insurance for your property. Providence Insurance, your future happy day.
With Provident, man, you are covered.
It's time for the nation's biggest annual health and fitness event. Saturday, 23rd March will be a blast as we hit the road with the Generational Life Walk 2019. Join Pastor Mensa Oatville and the International Central Gospel Church as we walk for life. Great-grandparents, grandparents, parents, and children of all ages will be walking. Life Walk 2019 starts and finishes at the Independence Square. Starting time, 5:30 a.m. prompt. Grab a free walking tag from the nearest ICGC assembly and prepare to walk for 3 kilometers, 6 kilometers, or the full 12 kilometers.
The post-walk extravaganza will feature Ohima Messi, Preachers, Belak 360, Spirit, and Soul Willis. Life Walk 2019 is in aid of mental health care delivery in Ghana. It's the 23rd of March and it's the Independence Square.
Life Walk 2019, 35,000 feet, celebrating 35 years of influence.
Industry regulator, the National Insurance Commission, NIC, aims to increase insurance penetration to 10% of GDP by 2021 from the present 2% approximately. Almost 2 years ago, the NIC had outlined 4 primary policy goals aimed at ensuring greater investment of funds in the bond market, improving claims payment systems, boosting penetration in the informal sector, and passing new legislation to improve enforcement and oversight. So join us on Tuesday, March 19 at 9:30 a.m. at the Town Palace Hotel for the Next Joy Business Financial Services Forum, where we will be asking if recapitalizing will lead to growth, expansion, penetration, and the capacity for big business underwriting in the insurance industry. The Joy Business Financial Services Forum is supported by Town Palace Hotel. Experience excellence. Joy Business, empowering, prospering together.
It's time to experience something edgier. A refreshingly different music experience. The most exciting music event on the social calendar. This March, get ready for the second annual 3 Music Awards. With live performances from some of your favorite Ghanaian and African music stars. Coming off live in the Fantasy Dome. Trade Fest Center on Saturday, the 30th of March, 2019 at 7 p.m. Performing live, Kitty, Kwame Eugene, Wendy Shea, Adina, Medical Theater, Grammy-nominated act Rocky Dawouni, Joey B, Joe Mato, Shatta Wale, Aquaboy from Nigeria, Victor A, and many more exciting performances. Tickets are selling fast at 100 Ghana City regular and 150 Ghana City VIP. Grab your tickets at Joy FM, Airport Shell, Machona Toto, and the Fantasy Dome. Call 0540-106-466 to book your tables at the VVIP section. The 3 Music Awards is presented by Joy FM, Hits FM, Joy Prime TV, and the Fantasy Dome, and with support from Love FM, Joy News TV, Adum FM, Adum TV, Asempa FM, Inchira FM, MyJoyOnline.com. Dial *713*2# to continue to vote for your favorite acts. The 3 Music Awards 2019. Here for the music.
It's the nation's biggest gathering of emerging leaders, young entrepreneurs, and tertiary students. It's the Springboard 2019 Global Convocation under the theme, The Digital Revolution. Come network with friends and connect with Albert and Comfort Okran and a team of CEOs and business leaders. Watch out for the brand new book entitled Snakes and Ladders by Albert and Comfort Okran. Dates this Saturday, 16th March. Venue, National Theatre, Accra. Time, 12 to 5 p.m. Main speakers, Kofi Dadzi, CEO of Runcard, and Salom Adadivo, CEO of MTN Ghana. Keynote speaker, Dr. Mensa Otabel. Dial *718*50# on your phone and follow the instructions on your screen to pre-register now. Contact 0249-999-555 or 0544-315-165 for more information on the 2019 Global Convocation and the Talent Expose. Main sponsor, MTN. We day for you. Other sponsors, UMB, Enterprise Life, Databank, Persol, Graphic Business, Dream Oval, Yap Cleaning Services, and York's Rent-A-Car. Springboard is brought to you by Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Legacy and Legacy, and powered by Super Hits radio station Joy 99.7 FM.
Every morning you wake up to the Super Morning Show, 99.7.
It's the most action-packed breakfast show in town. The hottest music, the best giveaways, the great interviews, and all the laughter and fun you can imagine. Don't miss the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. It's the best breakfast show in town.
Acapulco Bay, and I'm in Ba Ocean. 54 Sikim Print, this your friend don't green. Tunabo Aboski, a Bia Gabadin. Electricity, my need, you see crazy. When you talk with some foul document, my pocket me sardine. Send me here with the dry man, Madame Catherine. I swear, all the money matter, well, I, Superhana, Quap on take up a bit more time, ice water, gota to gota, Achimota to Taifa. The year here, and Sanaya, your fata, Mamika, and Yano who need the Comeka, Uncle Afu baby, or change your Kenyatta, who could tap one plug, or rap for me, chain, Balaga truck, Balaga chew. No break for by bet me chalk, Charlie, make a talk. Come to me for we do that, Emma, the same yes, Santimemuha, Emma, so, Masienta by the two on your mask, get set, go, Ubesu, take your right up and go, Pamuso Kodo, and Papo Po, Arabastan, Bessia, I don't fear who, Charlie, one food, and check no way you fool, who's right, when the man need kind, but I say, yeah, but I'm trying, drink riding the cankai, and sign, my name, Emma, BBI, your peck and crying, more brother, so we need that, get our pantine, put your friend down.
Joy 99.7 FM.
No prayer, yeah, and so was semi duffel pa and the red. Your penny, I hold the elitica. My friend, the bush, and maybe I can in Nana. Minambo soon one of her brain. Now I got tea and now will sit down or bantama. Or don't name Madame Fubia, ye canana. My Tom, my Kuma, Mobon, Saman Cassan.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Jack, put your train, Nameba, and then some new Nampo, Name Pesamic. Yako many chamber, Kuni Visa. We drink one, I'm a ball, Nami take care about, and Semno.
25 minutes to the top of the hour. That means it's 25 minutes till we wrap up today's Super Morning Show in Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Daniel Dazi. We're here in the studio with With Oscar Provençal, lead actor in the legendary Ghanaian series Inspector Bediako. A happy birthday to you, Shirley Akwe of Ablekuma Agape from Max. Your messages are coming in droves. Ken Adlegon says, hi, Daniel, ask Abwaje if Biwatara actually coughs in real life. This cough was too real. Good morning, Dan. You just brought memories back. I wanted to be a police officer when I was growing up just because of Inspector Bediako. Why didn't you become a police officer? Good morning, Dan and friends. Happy to hear from the inspector himself. Please ask him why they never continued the series. This was my major problem with local series. They start well and they are loved, but just stop on the way. The CSI series is still there, but not our own Inspector Bediako. Their series taught us a lot about safety and being security conscious. They should come again. Michael from Wa. Dan, his voice sounds so romantic. I love Inspector Bediako. It was the best then. When you say you love Inspector Bediako, do you mean he was the best or it was the like? We just want to get some clarification. You love the series or the person? Let us know. What is he doing now? He should open a school to teach filmmaking. Good morning, Daniel. You have really taken some of us back to those days when we will never want to miss an episode of Inspector Bediako, Taxi Driver, Ultimate Paradise, and By the Fireside. That was real entertainment. Very educative as well. My regards to Oscar and Master Richard Kwesi in Taifa. Did they ever school in the UK? If yes, he's half Nigerian. That created drama. Okay, so there's a question here about your dad. I want to ask. Abna from Achimota asked that you have some Nigerian heritage.
My late stepdad.
Oh, your late stepfather.
He was the former governor of Kwara State. So yes, and I went to school in Nigeria, Corona School in Ikoyi. Yes, I schooled in England as well. But my real dad is one of the unsung heroes. HST Provençal, Henry Sonny Togbo Provençal. Okay. He was the first mayor of Accra and a very close confidant of Dr. Osajifo Kwame Nkrumah. They were very close, played tennis together, virtually every morning and stuff like that. Yes, and he was at the forefront of our independence struggle. There's an iconic picture of Nkrumah coming out of prison, and they're in an open-top vehicle.
Yes.
There are 3 men in the vehicle. My father is one of them.
Okay.
So, yes, there's history there, and yeah.
Definitely a lot of history there. So we have a child of the... You were saying?
So may his soul continue to rest in peace, and I hope I've lived up to his,
his expectations.
His expectations, yes.
Oscar Provençal is our guest this morning on the Super Morning Show. I'll be letting you call in and ask Oscar any question you have in a moment. But before that, they say good things come to those who wait. But for those of us at Samsung, we're saying the best things to come to those who refuse to waste. Be among the first to buy your Samsung Galaxy S10 on launch day today, 15th March 2019 at selected shops, and get an extra Samsung Galaxy S10 for free. So now you can't afford to wait because the first buyer gets an extra Galaxy S10 Plus. The 10th buyer gets an extra Galaxy S10. The 20th buyer gets an extra Galaxy S10e in each shop. This offer is available today, Friday the 15th of March 2019 at the Telefonica Accra Mall, Compute Ghana Accra Mall, Samsung Galaxy Studio Accra Mall, Gafqua Trading Enterprise Circle, Samsung Experience Store Osu, and Samsung Premium Brand Store Ring Road. It's time to go beyond this generation with just one phone, even two, if you refuse to wait. Have you had a loved one suffer as a result of cancer, kidney failure, or heart disease? The emotional and financial stress is very traumatic. The Glyco Critical Illness Plan GSIP has been designed to alleviate some of the financial burdens critical illnesses pose on loved ones and family. Do not wait until it's too late. Sign on to the Glyco Critical Illness Plan GSIP for financial support when diagnosed with critical illness such as cancer, stroke, kidney failures, among others. Speak to Glyco Life today for your GSIP policy on 020-2222-113 or dial star Glyco on your Star phone app, available on Android and iOS. Glyco Life, we cushion you for life. 90 minutes at the top of the hour. 0302216541 0244340437. That is the phone line. So call us 0302216541 0244340437. Do you have any question for Inspector Bediako? What are your memories of Inspector Bediako? And what was your favorite Ghanaian series of the day? But so Oscar, when finally it happened and you had become this national sensation, how was it like back in the day?
Good question. I'm somebody who's very down to earth, very grounded. I'm not into this celebrity stuff and this red carpet stuff and all that kind of things. So for me, it was just, business like every other day. So I wasn't really into that. And I also knew that where we were in terms of the creative arts, in terms of our perceptions, especially by the general public, was not very favorable. Everybody thinks that you're a dropout, you're useless, you have nothing to contribute to society, and unfortunately, some within the creative arts give to that perception and they add to it. So it was always my quest not to move in that direction and to hold myself out with dignity and with respect. So for the most important thing in my life has been dignity and respect. And those are the two most important things in my life. And so I'm not somebody who will come into a room and, hey, I'm here, listen to my voice. And, I'm rather the person who'll go to the back seat and, when they're ushering you to the front, say, no, I want to sit at the back. Yeah, I don't just, so that's
a lesson for me personally as well.
So, that's the kind of thing.
Let me hear from Kofi Bajuma, host.
And still am.
You still are. Yeah, I noticed when you walked in. Kofi Bajuma is on the line from Kumasi. Kofi, good morning.
Good morning, Daniel. How are you?
I am blessed. How are you?
I'm very fine. I'm happy you brought Inspector Bediako onto your show this morning. I'm very, very happy. And I thank God for his life. I never knew he's still alive. Where has he been?
Okay, he will answer that question for you.
You see, but before that, Daniel, I have two straight questions for him. One, was he a police officer when he acted as Inspector Bediako? That is one first question. And the second question is, I heard him talk about spraying mosquito. I want to ask him, why didn't he go to the national security?
It's okay.
The mosquito mask they show to us on the.
It's okay, Kofi. It's okay. Ajman Joseph is on the line from Tema Community 9. Good morning, Joe.
Yeah, good morning, Daniel. Awesome.
Yeah, let's hear you. I'm good. Let's hear you.
Yeah, okay. I want to ask Inspector Bediako, what is going wrong that the industry needs to revive the movie industry?
Okay.
And during their time, what were they doing for their series being enjoyed? And now the young ones coming who want to be like him, what is advice is he giving to them? Is he able to establish movie industry school to teach them so that they can learn something to, revive our movie industry?
Thank you very much, Ajman Joseph. Let me come to Oscar for. So were you ever a police officer?
Absolutely not. No. And I don't even think I ever dreamt of being one. But, as a performer, you need to research your roles. And you'll find out that we all have different mannerisms. Soldiers walk differently. Policemen walk differently. doctors walk differently and they
Yeah.
talk differently. So as a performer, you need to embed yourself into your character and you need to research. And that's what we did. We did a lot of research, police friends, collaborators with the program. And that was it. There was a time I looked at myself and I knew I was too young. I mean, well, Inspector had this, look at this baby face, Inspector. And so it got to a point in time I started trying to put on weight so that, and I talked a little bit slower and my mannerisms were less boyish and more manly, So,
Interesting.
yeah, you had to bring it all together and create the
Interesting.
character.
Let's hear from Felix. He's calling from Kashiman. Good morning, Felix.
Good morning, Daniel, and good morning to Oscar.
Okay.
Oscar, you get what I mean?
Yeah, hey, my friend, is that you?
That's me, yeah.
Say what I mean.
Call you later. But to Daniel, can I talk about the UEW issue?
Etonam is on the line from Apollonia who has a question. Felix, thank you very much for calling though. Sorry, we can't take that comment. Good morning, Etonam.
Yes, Danny, good morning.
Hi, how are you doing?
Thank God for life and hope you're also doing well.
I am blessed. Let's hear you.
I'm super excited. Oscar is on the airways this morning. Growing up as a child, he's been one of my most favorite actors. Unfortunately, he just disappeared. Now that you've brought him back, I want to ask him one simple question. What is he doing at this time of his life to be able to bring back the good memories and the good works to life again? For those of us who knew him growing up and his impact has still been with us, what is he doing for this current generation? I'm interested. I want to know that.
Thank you very much, Etonam. Nanaya is on the line from Teshi. Good morning, Nanaya. Okay, Nanaya, rather, pardon me. Nanaya, good morning.
Good morning, son.
Hi.
How do you do?
I'm blessed. How do you do?
What do you do? I would like to say, growing up, it was a Mediacon and the life where the shows we loved so much. But I don't know the reason why it went off just like that. So I really want to ask him if that Inspector Bediako can come back. That is my question for Mr. Oscar.
Okay, thanks, Nanaya. Jake is calling from Wager. Good morning, Jake.
Good morning, Dan. Yes, I really wanted to congratulate Inspector Bediako because they've done a great job. But my one question I wanted to find out is, what are they doing for this hard generation? Because it seems like almost every episode, every scene or script that is being shown on our television, it's about sex, it's about violence, about those sort of inappropriate acts. So is there any policy that they are trying to put in place to sublet all these things, to scrutinize it before they put it on our national screen?
Thanks, Jake. Very, very thoughtful question. First of all, how did Inspector Bediako end, Oscar?
Well, everything is really about sponsorship. And mind you, I'm a hired hand. I'm not the producer. So obviously there are things that I may not know. But clearly, if you look at, and one of the contributors said, that a lot of these series are not sustained. It's all about sponsorship. They're very expensive endeavors to do, cost of production. And another problem we have is with the broadcast houses, because you have to purchase airtime or you have to barter airtime, and you don't get commission to make these productions. And that's what they should be doing. TV houses should be commissioning, and instead we have to produce, we have to come and buy airtime, and the production cost goes up. And the question is, even if you do get sponsors, you basically for a 30-minute advert, you may have 4 minutes worth of advertising time within that period. If you do the mathematics, how many organizations can afford, to pay that kind of sponsorship, and so there's been a challenge with that, and I think that's something that we'll be looking at going forward. But yes, it's a huge challenge. I think another thing too is the lack of professionalism that is within, the creative arts that's crept in. You have a lot of people who do not really have the requisite training, and also creativity is not about you wake up one morning, you write a script, and you write a script in 2 days. You don't know how to plot, you don't know how to write. It's a whole, and you can see that evolving in our productions, and you can see in terms of production standards and values and quality. You'll have static shots for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You don't see any change in angles. All these things require time. So while people are should be taking the average of maybe 14 days to 30 days to shoot, a film, they're taking 6 to 8 days. And of course, you're never going to get good quality production value out.
How long were you taking to shoot an episode?
An episode took us about 3 days to shoot an episode, if I stand to be corrected. And
that's like a 30 minutes.
30 minute, yeah. And sometimes it may even take longer depending on the logistics that are available. But it's something that needs to be addressed. But I think it will address itself, because at the end of the day, whoever is a producer is an investor. And today money is very difficult to come by.
Okay.
So if you're beginning to invest in film, you got to do your homework. And treat it as a business, not a tabletop business. And I think a lot of filmmakers today have treated it as a tabletop business.
Okay.
It is real business. And the stakes are even much higher today in the digital age. The traditional forms of selling film have gone. We're no longer selling tapes and CDs. Nobody's buying. It's a digital world. It's online. You have to educate yourself about how to maximize, how to monetize your product online, and the various Netflix and all the pay on demand and all these things are there. But you must have the right quality. You must have the right quality of product. And that's unfortunately what we are lacking.
We are seeing this ray of sunshine.
Yes, that's what
Genevieve Naji's Lionheart.
And not just Genevieve, right here in Ghana.
Burial of Kojo was also sold to Netflix by Blitz Bazauli.
Precisely.
And
Keteke just won second prize in FESPACO. The Ghanaian producers who have come out with amazing productions, Azali and a few others. I don't like mentioning names because tomorrow somebody will say, why didn't you mention my film? I've just starred in a film called Big Man Wahala.
Oh, okay.
We just premiered on Independence Day. It's a Daniel Adokatcher film. I urge everybody to go out there and watch it at the Silverbirds cinemas. And that's a new paradigm shift in also the kind of genre of film we're doing in Ghana.
Okay.
I think that Yvonne Nelson came out with Sin City recently. I think the filmmakers have begun to understand that if they're going to invest in film, and film is business, it's like any other business, you need to make sure you put the right investment right from the script all the way to your final edit.
Wow.
And all the way to marketing and distribution. It's much more scientific, and if you want to play around with your investment, that's fine. That's your money. If it's somebody else's money, you're either going to have a huge debt to pay or you go to jail. So that's a choice you have to make. So if we want to be serious as filmmakers in this country, we got to get our act together. I heard the other day at a forum that government should be providing so many things as capacity building and all that. And that's all well and good.
Yeah.
But I said, what about ourselves? We have to invest in ourselves. I mean, you have people who go to do apprenticeship with hairdressers, and they pay money to do so. They pay money to go and do apprenticeship. And you just want to sit there and you're waiting for government to come and give you capacity. It's not going to happen.
So you think those calls for government support are misplaced?
No, it's not misplaced. it is very well placed. However, we cannot substitute that for investing in ourselves.
Okay.
And I think that's what's important. Another thing that is important is there quality education out there for filmmakers, apart from NAFTI. What are the kind of film schools that are out there? I mean, are they accredited? What is the background of the owners of these? What are they churning out?
Yeah.
You know, are they churning out fully baked bread or half-baked bread or totally flat bread? You know, and it's important that maybe the Ministry of Education begins to look at some of these things, and so that looks at the curriculums that are being taught in some of these schools, because at the end of the day, we want quality products.
Mm-hmm.
I heard an advert on TV recently that within 30 days you can become a filmmaker. Yeah, I mean, that's nice. I mean, 30 days to become a filmmaker. I mean, what's the quality of that filmmaker going to be in 30 days?
On the point of education, Oscar, GIJ, NAFTI, and GIL, it's been announced that they will be merged into one university. Good idea?
I don't know. I hope so. But we're in the era of mergers. And, you know, I'm sure they've all checked out, you know, the benefits for that. I hope that if it's acceptable, I'm not going to make a judgment on that.
Okay.
I think that, yes, if they can do it properly and it will be beneficial, I think, yes, why not? There's no reason why not.
Right. Oscar Provençal is our guest this morning. I think one of the running questions that came was, will we have you back as Inspector Bediako?
Well, about 2 years ago, moves were being made to bring Inspector Bediako back. I know I was part of a team to do so.
Okay.
And I think last year there were some auditions that took place, and there's a process. So it's work in progress.
Okay.
But we want to get it right. You know, it's a different dispensation. Technology is different. And one of the questions, and I think one of the gentlemen pointed out about the violence and the sex, and that's something you did not see in Inspector Bediako. You never saw us shooting guns or, you know, explicit violence and so forth. And that was a huge appeal to the program, is to be able to have a program that does not have those elements but is still engaging. And engaging not only in Ghana, engaging internationally. I remember going online and seeing a lady from Kenya, you know, write this article and how it's inspired them in Kenya, how it inspired the film industry in Nigeria. And it was being shown in Nigeria at one time on AITV or something like that.
Interesting.
And it inspired a whole industry in Nigeria. And so we shouldn't take what we do for granted. The impact it's made on people's lives, not only in Ghana, but across the world. And I was telling you that, I mean, I just get awed why people would even mention me because, you know, in the scheme of things, who am I? But that's the impact we've made.
And
you sitting there, I remember telling you sitting there, you have absolutely no idea the impact you're making on people right now as we speak. And we should never take that for granted.
Thank you so much. Daniel, ask him where that lady who joined them those days is. Okay, so we have 1 minute to go, and we have to check out to this. We have to pack out to the studio now. My guest this morning has been Oscar Provençal of Inspector Bediako, the series. What we are going to do is that we are going to say goodbye to our friends who help us bring you the show. Family is the best thing anyone could help you, anyone could wish for. Family is there during life's ups and downs, and it loves you no matter what. That's why Hollard Life has introduced a life insurance policy that provides a total peace of mind and financial security for the entire family. It's called the Adepa Family Plan. It gives free cover to 5 children and guarantees 20% return on all contributions every 5 years. No premium payments upon retirement, yet you and your loved ones will remain covered. Call 0302 799 788. Sign up to the plan. At Hollard Life, we say family, we mean family. Ghana Revenue Authority which is to remind all withholding tax agents, including VAT withholding agents appointed by the Commissioner General, that today is when withholding taxes are due. So please head over to the VAT offices now, to the GRA offices now. The interest is 125% if you don't pay. So please head over to GRA offices now. Oscar had a final word he wanted to put in.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Echo Bedu. He was my co-star, and Akosia Abdallah. Two fantastic actors, two fantastic human beings. I met Akosia yesterday at the National Theatre, and it was a lovely reunion. Echo, wherever you are in the U.S., one love, brother.
All right. And that was Oscar Provençal. I mean, making our morning with his coming on the show today. So many questions. We can't answer every one of them. Sammy Forson is coming shortly with the Cosmopolitan Mix. Great music, great vibes. You want to stay for that. But now it's time for the news on top of the hour. Here to present that is Araba Kumsin. Araba, good morning.
Good morning, Daniel. And coming up, authorities